Let's talk more now about tonight's impeachment vote, the impact on you, the investor, the economy, the agenda with somebody who knows a lot more than we do, which is Chris Campbell. He is Chief Strategist at Duff Phelps Institute, longtime D.C. insider. Chris, welcome.
Good morning.
All right. I know you know a lot of the players that are involved in this. So, yeah, you used to be in on Worldwide Exchange.
Exactly.
You could say it's still dark either way. So it's fine. Here's the thing.
And you just intro him. He knows a lot more than us. He doesn't even know what time it is.
That's true.
He doesn't even know what time it is. Chris Campbell, thanks for coming on.
I want to hear Chris.
So, without getting into the political weeds of this, you heard our sort of analysis.
Yeah.
Would you agree that it's unlikely that this president at the end of this will be removed from office?
This president is not going to be removed from office.
Period.
He will not be removed.
End of story.
End of story.
Okay.
Unless something literally catastrophic, something that just, I think even if someone comes and testifies, he's still not going to be removed from office. So something that, like an alien comes down and some.
So let's fast forward then about a month, okay? The Senate has completed its trial. They acquit. You wake up the next day. All this process is basically over. The president now has to get something going. We've got trade. We've got infrastructure, theoretically. We've got medical device costs. We've got drug pricing. Can anything in that agenda that affects investors and the economy get done?
Sure. So looking at what's happening and how we're going to end the year. A partial deal on China. We have a big spending deal. We have the USMCA getting to yes, and the economy doing fairly well. So I mean, at Washington, for being as broke as it is, it's done pretty well at the end of the year. I like that going into next year. Next year, Congress is in the big spending deal that they've done, is setting up a health care debate mid-year next year. So that's likely going to be drug pricing. I don't think anything is going to happen, but I think
isn't that bipartisan enough that something might be able to happen, or is there going to be so much even more animosity after this process is done that they just can't even look at each other? Yeah, the difference is that, right now it's just naked partisanship, but in a couple months it's going to be Trump versus somebody else. And when that happens, when Trump knows his counterpart or who's going to run, opponent, it's going to be a real challenge. I think that's going to be real tribalism in D.C.
So, Chris, you talked about what's priced in. I agree with everything you said about impeachment. Talk about what's not priced in, but talk about a fiscal spending deal. Talk about, to what extent, I'm hearing 1.4 trillion. We hear all these different numbers. Where could it be? And handicap the probabilities, and then what sectors benefit?
Well, I think that number is about right. And there's going to be a permanent removal of some of the taxes that have been baked in, and Congress is going to continue punting. So the medical device tax, the insurance tax, the Cadillac tax on insurance companies for union members. So all of these things, it removes uncertainty, and so I think there's a lot more certainty, certainly in the healthcare industry and in the sector. So I think that's going to be great, and it tees up a conversation on infrastructure, and it tees up a lot of a conversation on a broader healthcare challenges that we have in the country, which is a huge issue for the president.
When you talk about healthcare and some of the issues going forward, does that mean that you would prefer, if you are there, if somebody is there, they should maybe start to slide out of that sort of sector right now in terms of some of the volatility that might come in?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't. I think it's. I think we're. Next year, I think it's steady state. So the Fed is not going to change interest rates next year likely. I think that we're pretty much know where we're going to be on regulations. The administration's deregulating, and taxes are going to be the same steady state. And I think there's going to be, markets going to be chasing some headlines as politics unfold. But at the end of the day, I can't see anything significantly happening that's going to be negative to the economy. So I like the way we enter next year.
Is there a chance that between the Tea Party on the Republican side and Democrats who are just very partisan, that they won't allow any kind of spending bill to move forward?
It's so
Are they big enough
unlikely. It's so highly unlikely. At this time, typically when we get this close to the end of the year, the leaders on both sides come together, and the deal is pretty much done.
I meant infrastructure, something like that.
Oh, infrastructure. Oh, something a larger deal like that? Absolutely, yeah. I think that's going to be very difficult. I think that's something I think, and I'm advising our clients, that's something I would see perhaps after the election. So I think it'll tee up a conversation next year, what an infrastructure package may look like. It's always been a challenge. I put together so many of these deals. It's always been a challenge. Challenge is not where to spend money, but where to raise the money.
Yeah, and there are vulnerable House Democrats, too. We got to remember that. So they're going to want to play ball maybe a little bit. Chris Campbell, Duff Phelps Institute. Thank you very much, Chris. Great insight.
Right.
Thanks, guys.